Today, we're taking a calm, measured look at something that might seem niche, but actually touches millions of software developers, and ultimately shapes the technology many of us use every day: Microsoft's GUI strategy. Or more precisely, the lack of a coherent one for over 3 decades. If you've ever wondered why Windows apps feel inconsistent, or why developers debate endlessly over which framework to use for desktop apps, there's a deep history behind that confusion. This story isn't just about technology. It reveals how internal company dynamics, business shifts, and leadership decisions ripple out to affect innovation, job stability in software development, and even the user experience on your devices. So, what happened? Back in 1988, Charles Petzold published Programming Windows, a comprehensive guide to writing Windows applications. This book, and the underlying Win32 API, offered a clear, unified approach for developers. It was technical, yes, but it gave them one mental model to learn and build on. In other words, Microsoft had a strategy: one operating system, one core API, one set of tools. But that clarity didn't last. Over the 1990s and 2000s, Microsoft introduced multiple competing technologies: MFC, COM, ActiveX, WPF, Silverlight, UWP, all promising the future of Windows app development, but fragmenting the ecosystem instead. Each came with its own complexities and limitations. Worse, internal rivalries between teams, especially between the Windows team and the .NET team, led to conflicting visions and a lack of unified direction. Take WPF, introduced in 2006. It was powerful and modern, using XML for declarative UI and hardware acceleration, but Microsoft never fully committed to making it the definitive platform. Instead, Silverlight appeared as a lighter, browser-focused technology, only to be abruptly sidelined in favor of HTML5 years later, leaving many developers stranded. Then came Windows 8 and the Metro interface, with WinRT as a new native runtime. This was supposed to unify app development across devices, but instead deepened confusion by sidelining .NET and alienating enterprise developers with sandboxing and App Store restrictions. The Universal Windows Platform, UWP, followed with similar ambitions, but suffered from a lack of adoption, even within Microsoft's own flagship apps. Today, the landscape is a jumble: multiple native frameworks dating back decades, various web and hybrid approaches, and third-party tools filling the gap. Developers face a bewildering array of choices, languages, and rendering paradigms, making it hard to pick a clear path forward. This disarray reflects not a lack of good technology, but decades of organizational missteps and shifting priorities. What does this mean in the short term? It means continued uncertainty and fractured ecosystems. Investment in some technologies stalls while others rise, forcing constant learning and retooling. For businesses, this can translate to higher development costs, slower innovation, and difficulties maintaining legacy applications. For users, inconsistent app experiences and missed opportunities for seamless integration. Looking further ahead, Microsoft's recent efforts like Project Reunion, now Windows App SDK, and WinUI 3 aim to consolidate and modernize the platform. These are promising moves, but also reveal the depth of the cleanup needed. The hope is for a stable, coherent framework that bridges native and managed code, supports diverse devices, and simplifies developers' lives. Yet, the underlying lesson here isn't technical, it's organizational. Without a unified vision and commitment to a developer-centric strategy, even the best technologies struggle to succeed. Microsoft's story is a cautionary tale of brilliant teams working at cross purposes, internal politics overriding developer needs, and business shifts that orphaned entire developer communities. In the end, the clarity Petzold's book represented remains elusive, but understanding this history helps us appreciate the challenges ahead and why getting it right matters beyond just code. It impacts jobs, innovation, user experience, and the future of software on the world's most widely used desktop platform. Thanks for listening to Early Signal. Stay tuned as we continue to track these foundational tech stories that quietly shape our digital lives.